Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our restorative yoga flow class. So excited to have you all here today. Just to kind of give you an idea of my agenda for the morning, I wanted to just kind of give a brief introduction of yoga and my experience with it, especially during my breast cancer journey, and why I feel it can be really beneficial. And then we're going to talk about some different props that you might want to use in class today and some substitutions if you need it. And then we're going to go into class and we're going to talk about about prana and asana. Just so you guys know, prana is the term for breathing and asana is your poses, and they're both really important. And so we're going to do 24 asanas or poses today, and we're going to work on 3 different types of breathing or prana that I think that you guys can use, you know, outside of yoga as well. I find the breath work to be really helpful and beneficial. So glad you could join us. Gabby, come on over. This is my beautiful stepdaughter, Gabby. And she's going to be joining us today. And one of the reasons I asked her to join us is so I can kind of describe a pose. Gabby will stay in the pose, and then I will show some of the different options for modifiers and things. So I wanted you to kind of have a constant in Gabby, and then, like I said, I'll be able to kind of show how to simplify things, or, you know, again, just modify accordingly. So any questions before we get started? Nope. Okay, right on. So, you know what?
Should we all mute ourselves?
If you don't mind, that would be great. And I'm going to go ahead and just put some nice music on in the background.
I think muting ourselves is sort of good because then we don't pop up on the screen and block you out if we make a noise.
I appreciate that. Okay, let me just see. So I'm going to just put on a little bit of music. The music that I'm using is on Spotify, and it's called Bhakti Flow. And so if you're ever interested in this short video to get 30 minutes of listening. If you're ever interested in listening to some calming music during your practice, that's a good option. But let me just give it a second till the advertisement is over. Live here, look out for you. Simple. In times of need, neighbors step up for neighbors. We do too. With a helping hand and a warm meal. What kind of neighbor would we be if we didn't? Okay. Come on over, Gabby. Now, can you guys all hear me from here? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, very good. So, kind of to get started, I just wanted to give a little bit of background. I've done yoga for many, many years. It's always been kind of part of my health and well-being practice, and became a really important part of my breast cancer recovery journey as well. So much so that I decided kind of along the line to get my certification to be able to teach yoga. And the teacher training that I did was an Ashtanga inspired kind of vinyasa flow yoga. And then since that time, I've really worked on building out my experience in restorative yoga and things that can be pretty specific to our breast cancer journey. You'll notice if you're adept at doing yoga that you might see that this flow has less upper body engagement, and that's intentional because I know we have some of us that are practicing that have some weight limitations on the chest area, and so we won't do as much with that. We will do a few poses that work on lymphatic drainage under the armpits and opening up the chest, but we won't do too much with requiring a lot of upper body strength for this particular series today. One of the other things I wanted to show you guys, because it's an absolute favorite of mine, I'll walk it closer. If you're interested in more specific yoga for breast cancer, this is called Restorative Yoga for Breast Cancer Recovery, and the author's name is Diana Ross. And it's just a really beautiful book, and it has tons of different poses. She's a breast cancer survivor as well, so the whole book was kind of put together with that in mind. And I would say about half the poses I put in the series today, I pulled directly from this book. So, so I think it's a really great book. And if you do pick it up, there's a beautiful foreword that she's written all about yoga and yoga for cancer, specifically breast cancer, and how it can help and why it's relevant. And I won't go through all that today, but there is just kind of like one paragraph that I thought sums it up pretty well, and I would like to share that with you. So she says, restorative yoga for breast cancer utilizes flowing yoga poses because they are so valuable in creating a high level of intuitive clarity for the mind. The mind, breath, and body all come together while flowing slowly in the yoga pose. The mind begins to experience peacefulness and inner calm. This allows the mind and body to begin to let go of held tensions and then soften. This process awakens the prana or life energy, which further directs the mind's awareness toward a deeper level of understanding. Learning how to control the breath enables the mind to remain focused, which helps create positive action. When you can learn to control the breath, the mind too comes under control. The mind and breath are interdependent upon one another. It is important to understand that yoga, meditation, and proper breathing foster the healing process. Yoga also releases pent-up stress and tension in the mind and in the muscles. Flexibility and strength in the body are nurtured. Adding the use of yoga props will help to facilitate this overall healing. You will need to tailor your yoga routine to meet your individual needs, taking into account your stamina and current health. And so we will provide modifiers throughout the class today. And I just kind of, to piggyback on what Diana Ross was saying there, I just want to remind everybody that wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. So, so excited to have you here today. So now let's go over a few things that you don't necessarily need, but you might like to have for class. I always recommend having some water on hand. Sometimes a towel is helpful, like a hand towel size, which can be really good to use kind of to help you get into poses where if you don't maybe quite have the flexibility to do that, or to sit on to kind of pad the ground a little bit. So always do that. I also like to use a yoga block as a modifier. If you don't have, you can pick one of these up really inexpensively, but if you don't have one, I would recommend if you have like a big, thick, hardbound book, it will definitely serve the same purpose, okay? If you have a pillow, any size is fine, or a bolster pillow even. I have kind of a smaller throw pillow that I'll be using today, but any of those would work. And then lastly, if your flexibility is limited and you're new to yoga and your modifiers, you might need more modification, then I might also recommend having a chair close by, and I'll show how we can actually use that chair throughout in some of our poses for modification. So I'm gonna give everybody just a minute or two to round up a few of these things. Again, none of them are a requirement. So you'll be just fine to do class without them, but just suggested things. Did you have a nice Thanksgiving? Good. Teeny's back, Jerry's back. Zelle's back. Okay, and we'll just give Annie and Antoinette just a minute. Antoinette is back. Okay, just one more second for Annie. Great, and there's Annie. Wonderful. Okay, so it looks like everybody had a minute to get their props. Very good. So I always like to begin and end my yoga classes with different breathing styles. So the 3 different kinds of breath that we're going to practice today, when I was in school, it was taught as coffee, water, and whiskey breathing, also known as breath of fire, ocean breathing, or sleeping breath. So we'll go through all 3 of them because they all do very different things. We're going to start our practice with breath of fire because it wakes up your body and your central nervous system. We'll be practicing our ocean breathing throughout, and then we'll end the class with our sleeping breath. And again, I want you guys to learn these breathing practices because it's something we also talk about in our guided imagery and breathwork class, that they're great to use, you know, if your anxiety peaks and you're in the doctor's office, you know, you might kind of try some of this sort of relaxing breath as well, or anywhere that it's relevant in your life. So we're going to go ahead and start with breath of fire. And to do this, we're going to sit Indian style. We're going to put our hands on our knees. And with breath of fire, you're going to focus on the exhale, and the inhale happens naturally, okay? It's diaphragmatic breathing, so you're breathing out of your abdomen. And you should be able to see Gabby and my abdomen as we do it. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like. It sounds like a sharp sneeze, and you can actually watch the abdomen flex as we're doing it, okay? So it kind of looks something like this. Okay, so everybody want to give that a try. See what it feels like. Close your eyes and really exhale. Focus on your stomach. Contract those abdominals on the exhale, and the inhale will happen naturally, okay? So I'm going to walk you through 3 rounds of 20. Again, close your eyes. Inhale. Fill up your chest with air, and then exhale, 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 exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more rounds of that, and hopefully you'll feel your body really start to kind of awaken and get ready for your practice, okay? So for round 2, again, close your eyes and inhale. Focus on the abdominal. 4, exhale, 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 exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Beautiful. Okay, and now for our last and final round. Again, hands on your knees. As you inhale, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, 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 exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Beautiful. Okay, now everybody go ahead and stand up. Come to the front of your mat. Feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to do our sun salutation. So we'll do 3 rounds of this. And sun salutation will be the only time today that we do anything in the way of downward facing dog or anything that's heavy on our upper body. Okay. So if this is uncomfortable, just do what you can. Don't push yourself. You know, just go to a place that it feels good. So on our sun salutation, inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. Exhale, fold forward and bring your fingers down to the mat. You can bend your knees as needed here. Keeping your fingers on the mat, inhale and raise to a flat back position. This will be a reset for us. And now as you exhale, and when you think about melting your chest into your legs. And inhale, step back into a plank position. Bend your arms halfway. This is known as chaturanga. Inhale, roll over your toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back over your toes, downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. We're going to begin our water or ocean breathing. And we're going to use this throughout class. And so for water or ocean breathing, you inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now on your next inhale, come up on your toes, bend your knees, gazes between your hands, and you're going to step or hop forward. And as you exhale, fold forward into the pose. Again, a micro bending your knees is just fine here. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up, and exhale into mountain pose. So that's our first round of our sun salutation. We're gonna do 2 more. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips on the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold deeply into that bend. Relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, step or hop back into chaturanga. Exhaling. Now, inhale, upward facing dog. Roll over your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming back to your breath. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Your next inhale, come up on your toes, bend your knees, gazes between your hands. Step or hop forward. Exhale into that forward bend. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. And exhale into mountain pose. Beautiful job. Okay, let's go on to our third round. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips on the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, deep forward fold. Beautiful. Inhale, step or hop back into chaturanga. Exhaling, half push up. Inhale, roll over your toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back over your toes, downward facing dog. Adjust your hands and feet as needed here. Really thinking about equally dividing the energy between the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. Beautiful. On your next inhale, come up on your toes, bend your knees, gazes between your hands, step or hop forward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. And exhale into mountain pose. Beautiful. And so the first half of the class is going to be a standing series, and the back half of the class is going to be a seated series, okay? So we're going to move from here into what's called ragdoll A and B. It's a 2-part pose. So again, we're going to keep our feet about shoulder distance apart. Inhale, bring your hands to the soft part of your waist. And I want to bring everybody's attention to something really fast. Throughout the class, we're going, whenever I say put your hands on your waist, you want to make sure they're on that soft part of your waist, and here's why. So move your hands down to your hips for just a second. And you may notice a tendency to kind of slouch your spine there. And so that's why we don't do that. But you'll notice if you engage your hands at the soft part of your waist, it's just a natural instinct to really flex those core muscles. And that's really what we're looking for. So that's why we do it, okay? So arms on that soft part of your waist. Inhale, really think about lengthening the spine, filling your chest with air. And as we exhale, we're going to fold forward, reaching toward the floor. Now, this is a great place to use a block if need be. If you're able to, go ahead and try to grab your big toes with the peace fingers of each hand. Totally okay to microbend your knees here if needed. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to inhale, keep holding onto those toes or wherever you are, and flatten your back. Again, no reset like we did in our sun salutation. And then exhale even deeper into the pose. Really think about letting your head and neck and shoulders relax and just hang here. Always coming back to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Now, on your next inhale, still holding onto those toes, come back up to a flat back again. And now, one at a time, move the pillow so you can see here. I want you to release your left hand first and put the whole palm of your hand under your foot so your toes are touching your ankles. And then we're going to do that again on the right side. Totally okay to bend your knees as needed here, okay? Inhale, and as you exhale, bend your elbows and fold forward. Really think about winging your arms out to the side. As you inhale, I want you to focus on lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, I want you to think about melting your chest closer to your legs. Beautiful job. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now go ahead and release your hands and bring them back to that soft part of your waist. And as you inhale, use that breath to help you return to center. Beautiful. Now we're going to move on to triangle pose, which we'll do on both sides. So most of our standing series we do on one side and then we switch to the other. So you're going to go ahead and step back with your left foot. So your right foot is facing the top of your mat and your left foot in the back is at about 45 degrees. We're going to square our hips off toward the center or wide part of our mat, okay? Now from here, we're going to inhale, arms out to the sides. And as you exhale, lean forward first and then come down towards your mat. If you're able to, grab your big toe on your right foot with the peace fingers on your right hand. Left arm is extended up in the air. Now, a couple of modifiers here. If you can't reach your toe, a block is a great alternative. And then also, let me show you, for those of you where that's still a bit more of a challenge, this is a great place to use your chair. I'm going to do it sideways so you guys can see, okay? But instead of reaching down for my foot, I would reach to put my hand on the chair here, legs stay in the same position, arms up, gazes up at that upper hand. Beautiful. Now inhale. Come to center, let's pivot our feet. Now our left foot is facing the back of our mat and our right foot comes to about 45 degrees. Inhale, arms out to the side, fill your chest with air. As you exhale, think about leaning forward first and then coming down, grabbing that big toe of your left foot with the peace fingers of your left hand. Right arm is up in the air, gaze is up toward that right hand. Always coming back to your breath, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale, return to center. Now we're going to move into reverse triangle. We're going to keep our feet about 3 meters apart where they are now, but this time with our right foot facing the top of our mat, we're going to square our hips off to the front of our mat for reverse triangle. Back foot is still at an angle. If you need to step that back foot out a little for stability, do whatever you need to do here. Right arm comes to the soft part of your waist. Inhale, left arm comes up in the air. As we exhale, we're going to come forward and then down, twisting to bring our right hand to the outside of our right foot. Again, a great time to use your block as a modifier, putting it either vertically or horizontally. And then right arm stretches up into the air. Stay here if you like. If you're looking for a bit more of a challenge, try to bring your gaze up to those upper fingers. Always coming back to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. On your next inhale, you're going to come up and windmill your arms, pivot your legs. Now our left foot is facing the back of our mat, and we're going to square those hips off toward the back of the mat. Inhale, left hand on your waist, right hand comes up in the air. As you exhale, come forward first, and then we're going to twist and bring our right fingers down to the outside of our right foot. Left arm stretches up in the air, gazes toward your upper fingers. This is also one that you could do with a chair, just to show you guys what that would look like. We would be, your hips would be squared up toward the chair, and our left hand would be on our waist, right arm would come up, and instead of coming down, we would just come down to the distance of the chair. Put your right hand on the chair, and the left arm would extend up into the air with the gaze up at your left hand. Wherever you're at, inhale, pivot, and return to center. Now we're going to move into our side angle pose and reverse side angle. So we're going to extend the distance between your feet to about 3.5 feet or so, a nice wide stance. Right foot is facing forward toward the top of your mat, and we're gonna have a deep bend, that sort of archetypal 90-degree bend in your right leg. Really want you to focus here on not letting your knee come out over your ankle. Okay, it's really important that you stack those two. Inhale, arms come out to the sides. As we exhale, we're going to lean forward first and then bring that right hand to the outside of your right foot, touching the mat. Again, great place for a modifier. And then your left arm comes up and overhead. We're making a beautiful line down your arm and torso and left leg. Left arm, torso, and left leg. Now, one of the things I want you to think about here is as you inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, really think about twisting and opening your chest. You want those shoulders stacked on top of each other. Beautiful. Now inhale, return to center. And we're going to pivot our feet and do the same thing on the other side. And so hips are squared off to the center again. Now our left leg goes into that deep 90-degree bend, watching your knee. Inhale, arms come out to the sides. Exhale, leaning forward first, then bringing your hand down to the mat, that left hand on the outside of the left foot, right arm comes up overhead. It makes a beautiful line. Inhaling, lengthen, exhaling, twisting, open. Beautiful. Now inhale, return to center. Moving on to the reverse side angle. Keeping those feet, again, about 3.5 feet apart. Facing the front of the mat, right foot facing forward. You're going to angle that back foot so it's more at about a 45-degree angle than a 90-degree angle. Arms are going to come to the soft part of your waist. That front right knee is bent. As you inhale, lift your left arm up in the air. And as you exhale, come forward and twist, bringing your left elbow to the outside of your right leg. Hands come together in prayer near your heart center. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, really think about twisting as far as you can. You might find that your hands in prayer are closer to your armpit. Eventually, with practice, you'll find that you're able to move them closer to your heart center. Exhale, release. Inhale, return to center. Now we're going to pivot to the other side. Squaring our hips off toward the back of our mat. Left foot is facing forward. We're going to bend that left knee. Left hand on the soft part of your waist. Inhale, right arm comes up in the air. As you exhale, come forward first and then twist down, bringing your left elbow to the outside of your left knee. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, twisting open, bringing those hands closer to heart center. One more big inhale here, and exhale. Release the pose, and on your inhale, return back to center. Beautiful job. Now we're going to go into wide leg A, B, and C. This is a 3-part pose. I'll walk you through each one. Gabby's going to do it sideways, but I'm going to go a little off mat here so I can show you what it looks like from the front. It's wide leg, but we're not trying to be all the way out here in a straddle. So 3.5 feet or so apart on your feet. Bring those hands back to that soft part of your waist again. Inhale, fill your chest with air, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, come forward. Think about reaching for the floor with your hands. Use that block if need be, or that book. If you are able to get your hands onto the floor, I want you to think about walking the palms of your hands back closer to the heels of your feet. This might feel a little bit unusual because we have such a tendency to keep our weight in our heels as we exist in day-to-day life, but it's nice to give our heels a little bit of a break. So again, push in your fingers and push in the balls of your feet. That should feel really good. Think about stacking your elbows on top of your wrist. Really relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders. Beautiful. Now exhale, release. Return your hands to the soft part of your waist. And as you inhale, let that breath bring you back to center. So that was A. Now for B, we're going to go ahead and keep our hands on the soft part of our waist for this entire second part of the pose. And so same thing, inhale, lengthen through the spine, gaze is up. Beautiful. And as you exhale, fold forward. Again, keeping your hands at that soft part of your waist and winging those elbows out to the side. Really opening up your chest and allowing for maximum breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And as you inhale, let that breath bring you back to center. And now for wide leg part C, we're actually going to intertwine our arms behind us. I'm going to come a little closer so you guys can see this. There's a couple variations here. If you don't have a ton of flexibility or you're feeling tightness across your chest, I know a lot of us go through that post-surgery, you may just want to keep your hands right here where you're reaching kind of towards your elbows. The alternative is to bring your hands behind you. This way. Intertwining your fingers and thinking about bringing the palms of your hands close together. So this one's a little bit harder. So just kind of wherever you're at is great. So try it with A or B, okay? So Gabby's gonna stay here and hold on to her forearms, and I'm gonna demonstrate what it's like to engage your palms, okay? So now I want you to stay in that stance where you are. Put your arms however it feels good, either hands engaged or holding onto those forearms. And we're gonna go ahead and inhale, lengthen, head back, fill your chest with air. And as you exhale, fold forward. And think about pulling either your whole arm, if your hands are intertwined, away from your back, or if you're like Gabby and you're holding your forearms, just think about lifting your elbows off your back. Inhale, lengthen, and with each exhale, think about getting your arms a little bit further away from your back, really increasing the rotation of your shoulders. Beautiful job. Inhale and let that breath bring you back to center. Okay, now we're going to move into our intense side stretch, and let me demonstrate the hands on this one. Again, two choices. You can either keep them here and just try to grab for your wrists or your forearms or closer to your elbows. Or in this one, we're going to try to bring our palms, fingertips touching together. And the further you progress in this, the more you might be able to walk those hands and palms up your back, okay? But just wherever you are is great. And so our feet on this one, about 3 feet apart, pivoted, and our hips are squared off to the front of our mat, and arms behind you. Inhale, open up your chest. Exhale, leaning forward first, and then coming down, focusing on melting your chest to your leg. Always coming back to your breath. Inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Inhale, let that breath bring you back up. And now we're going to pivot our feet, square your hips off toward the back of your mat. Re-engage your hands or your arms. Get your grasp the way you like it. Beautiful. Now inhale, slight back bend. Fill your chest with air. As you exhale, come forward, and then think about folding your chest down over your left leg. Beautiful. Inhale, let that breath bring you back to center. And now we have 2 more poses in our standing series. We're going to be doing our extended leg pose. That's a 3-part pose. And then we'll end our standing series with tree. Okay? So for the extended leg pose, Gabby, I'm going to have you demonstrate the modified one where you kind of keep your knee in, and then I'll demonstrate the straight leg option. Again, wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. So for both this pose and the next one, I want you to find a focal point on the floor about 5 feet in front of you and something that does not move that will help you a lot with your balance. And we're going to shift and put all of our weight into our left leg, make it really strong. And when your right leg feels light and you're ready, go ahead and lift your leg off the ground, grasping at your knee. Okay? Go ahead and stay here if it feels good. Gabby's going to stay here. I'm going to go ahead and show you a modification. If you're ready to go a little bit further, you can reach down and grab that right toe with the peace fingers of your right hand. And if you feel so inclined, you can extend that right leg out in front of you. Beautiful. Now on your next inhale, we're going to bring your leg out to the side. Gabby's showing you how to do that holding onto your knee. That's great. Or you can extend your leg. Always coming back to your breath. Exhale. Now inhale, bring your leg back to center. Release your toe. This is a great time to be using a chair if you need the support. Stretch that leg out in front of you. Flex your feet. Hands on your waist. Lifting, gazes at your toe. And hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful job. And with this pose and any pose, if you fall out of it, just jump right back in. No problem. Now we're going to shift our weight heavy into our right leg, making that left foot light. Again, if you're using a chair, you might just want to turn around here. Turn the chair around so you can use the higher part for the back of the chair. Just to kind of give you guys that option, okay? So now we're going to shift our weight heavy into our right leg. Left leg becomes really light. Inhale, lift that knee up. Grab your knee. You can stay here, or if you feel so inclined, reach down and grab that big toe. Think about extending your leg out in front of you. Beautiful. Now from here on our next inhale, we're going to bring our leg out to the side. Feel free to follow Gabby and hold your knee, or try to extend your leg out accordingly. Exhale. On your next inhale, bring your leg back to center. Release your foot. Try not to lean forward or backward. Really straight spine. Lifting your leg, gazing at your toe, and let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful. Now we're going to move on to tree pose. It's another balancing pose. So we're going to shift that weight back into our left leg, making our right leg nice and light. Hands in the soft part of your waist. Now, as you inhale, reach down, and you can help your right leg by engaging your right foot towards your right thigh. Now, the more you're able to push against your leg, the better stability you'll have. As a modifier, if this is too much, you may put your right foot against your left calf, but please don't push against your knee, okay? So either your thigh or your calf. And when you're ready, release your hand from your ankle and bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Now hold it here for a second. If you need the chair, that's totally fine. Now we're going to inhale, intertwine our fingers, and as you exhale, I want you to think about lifting your arms up into the air. And if you're ready for a little more of a challenge, bring your gaze up toward the ceiling, like a tree welcoming the sun. We're going to come back to our breath here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And as you exhale, release and bring your hands back to heart center. One more inhale, and exhale, release the pose. Beautiful job. Okay, now let's shift that over to the other side. So we're going to go heavy in our right leg, inhaling, lifting our left foot up to engage wherever it feels good on your right leg. When you feel like it, or if you feel like it, release your hands and bring them to prayer at heart center. Couple of breaths here. Then we're going to intertwine our fingers. Inhale, lift our arms up overhead. If it feels good to you, bring your gaze up. Again, like a tree welcoming the sunshine. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Now we're going to exhale and bring our hands back to heart center. Take one more big inhale. And as you exhale, release the pose, shaking out your arms and legs. Great job on the standing series. We're going to do one more sun salutation, and that'll kind of move us into our seated series. So go ahead and return to the front of your mat, to the top of your mat. Feet should be shoulder width distance apart, hands down by your sides. Inhale, arms up, palms touch, look up. And exhale, fold forward. Beautiful. Keeping your fingers engaged with the mat. Bend your knees as needed here. But inhale, come to a flat back. We're going to reset. And then as you exhale, fold deeper into that forward bend. You guys should all be really warmed up now and probably a lot more flexible than you were when we did our first sun salutation of the day. Beautiful. Now inhale, step or hop back into chaturanga. And exhale here as you go into your half push-up. Inhale, roll over your toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll back over your toes, downward facing dog. Now stay here for a couple of breaths, really dispersing that energy equally amongst your four kind of pillars here, the soles of both feet and the palms of both hands. Inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now on your next inhale, come up on your toes, bend your knees, gazes between your hands, step or hop forward. Exhale, fold into that forward bend. Inhale, arms up, palms touch. Exhale into mountain pose. Now from here, we're going to move into our squat pose, also known as Malasana, if any of you have ever heard of that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to fold forward and bring our hands toward the mat for stability. Bend your knees, of course, as needed here. And then bend your knees the rest of your way, bringing your bottom close to the floor. You may find that your heels lift up a little bit. That's okay. Over time and practice, you'll get to the place where your heels are engaging with the floor. Once you're here and you feel stable and good, go ahead and release your hands from the ground, and we're going to try to bring them into prayer position. Pushing with our elbows on the inside of our knees and really opening up your groin and your hips. That should feel really good. And we're going to go ahead and just gently push with your right hand first, opening up the right side of your body. Then release a little bit with that right elbow and push with your left elbow, kind of going back and forth. Should feel a really good stretch here. Beautiful. Now exhale and return your palms to the mat. Instead of standing up, we're going to come down onto our hands and knees. And we're going to sit back onto our feet with our heels angled out to the sides or a little bit on the outside of our legs. This is another really great place to use the block. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. Either flat or kind of up on the side vertically, and you can sit on the block, which keeps your hips up off the ground. If your hips are a little bit closed, sometimes that can feel really good, okay? And so what we're gonna do here is thunderbolt pose. I want you to reach behind and grab your ankles with the palms of your hands, okay? And we're in a neutral position now. We're going to inhale. Really bring your shoulder blades together behind you. Fill your chest with air. Let your head hang back. And you're going to feel a nice bend in your spine, a back bend, okay? As you exhale, we're going to reverse that and bring your shoulders together in the front. Exhale, let all the air out of your chest and let your head hang forward. We'll try that again. Inhale, open up your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades behind you and let your head fall backward. And exhale, opposite. Really push all that air out of your chest and your lungs. Should be very concave. And one more time. Inhale, pushing through those palms into your heels, allowing for maximum breath. Beautiful. And exhale, let it go and come into that concave position. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to go into a child's pose. So release your hands, bring them forward onto the mat. So you're on your hands and knees. You might want to walk backward a little bit so you have more range of mat. And then what I want you to do is sit back onto your heels and extend your arms out in front of you. This should feel really good. Walk them out as far as you can and allow your head to come forward, maybe even bringing your forehead to your mat. We're going to relax here, coming back to our breath. Inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now, as you inhale, push back up onto your hands and knees, and we're going to roll over onto our bottoms for in a seated kind of straddle position for turning wide angle pose and turning wide angle twist pose. So I would recommend you being in the center of your mat so you can utilize more of your mat. I'm going to pivot facing forward so you can see it from the front, and Gabby will stay here on the side. So when you bring your legs into a V, you don't want to overextend or hyperextend your hips in any way. We're not trying to do a straddle split here, but you want them wide enough that you feel just a little bit of a stretch at least in your inner thighs, okay? And we're going to inhale. I'm going to do it facing forward. Inhale, arms come out to the sides. And as you exhale, we're going to lean to the right, arm up overhead. Your right elbow comes down to the mat. Your left hand reaches up and over for a beautiful side stretch. Now again, as we did with the side angle pose, you want to try to keep that left shoulder from falling forward. You want to stack your shoulders on top of each other, okay? So that left arm is up and over your head. Beautiful. Now inhale, use that right hand to push up and back to center. Inhale with those arms outstretched, and as you exhale, we're going to come back over to the left side. Think about bringing your left elbow down onto the mat. Right arm is outstretched overhead. Inhale, lengthen through that right arm. And as you exhale, think about twisting your chest open and stacking your shoulders on top of one another. Coming back to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Big exhale. And then as you inhale, use that breath to naturally pull your body back up to center. Okay, so that's turning wide angle pose. Now for the turning wide angle twist pose, we're going to keep our legs exactly as they are. And we're going to go ahead and shift our upper body so that it's in line with our right leg, okay? Hands, I think the easiest way to teach this is with your hands on either side of your leg. But let me tell you as a modifier, if you don't have a lot of flexibility or twist in your spine, you can walk your hands inside, both hands inside your leg, keeping them close to your right leg. If you have a lot of flexibility in your twist, you can walk with both hands on the outside of your leg. But I think just kind of as neutral would be to keep one hand on either side of your leg. Inhale, really lengthening through your spine. And as you exhale, walk your hands forward toward that right foot, okay? Flexing your foot. If you're very flexible and you want to try to grasp your right foot and pull your upper body a little bit further, you're welcome to do so, but please don't feel required. Just feeling a nice stretch here, both in the back of your right leg and also in your left hip and inner thigh. Let your head hang. And as we inhale, let's go ahead and walk our hands back. And we're going to pivot and do the same thing with the left leg. So twist your spine so it's in line with your left leg. Inhale, lengthen your spine, fill your chest with air. And as you exhale, walk those hands out towards your left foot. Everybody looks great. Beautiful job. Coming back to your breath, inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now inhale and use those hands, walk back to center. Now we're going to move into our wide squat twist pose. And so this is a great one for the pillow that we mentioned at the beginning. You might find that you just like to sit on it, and it'll provide a cushion here as we sit in the squat for your tailbone, okay? And so we're going to keep our legs about as far apart as they were, but you're going to bend them and put your feet on the floor, knees up. Kathy, will you admit whoever that is trying to get in? Thank you. And the reason that I actually chose this particular pose is it's really, really good for your lymphatic drainage on both sides in our armpits, which I know is definitely an issue after breast cancer surgery. And it's also a really beautiful way to release kind of some of the tension that you might be holding across your chest, okay? So we're gonna keep our arms inside of our legs, kind of pushing with your elbow and forearm against each of your calves, okay? Inhale, lengthen your spine. We're gonna release that left hand. And as you exhale, I want you to twist and extend your left arm behind you. Inhale, bring it back in front of you. And this time when you exhale, bring it up overhead. Find a really nice stretch in that armpit and side area. Exhale, return to center. And we're actually going to do 5 on each side. So we're going to do 4 more of these. Inhale, sweep your arm behind you and twist. Gaze is at those fingers. Exhale, bring that arm back to center. Inhale, extend up overhead, feeling a nice stretch through your lymphatic system. Exhale, release. That was 2. Inhale for the 3rd round, twist and bring your left arm behind you. Gaze follows your hand. Exhale, arm back out in front of you. Inhale, overhead, gaze is up. Exhale, back to center. 2 more. You should really be feeling it in your arm muscles too. This is a good strengthening pose. Inhale, twist, arms open. Your left arm open, gaze at those fingers. Exhale, bring your hand back in front. Inhale, arm up in the air, gaze up at that hand. Exhale, hand comes back, arm back to center. Last one, make it your best one. Inhale, twist, twist, open. Gazes over those left fingers. Exhale, bring that arm back to center. Inhale, one more time, arm is up overhead. Gazes up at those fingers. And exhale, release your left arm. Everybody feel a good strength workout in that pose? Beautiful. Okay, great. So now we're going to switch over to the right-hand side. So I want you to push with your elbow and forearm all the way down to your wrist against the inside of your left leg. That'll provide you stability. And then we're going to release that right arm out in front of us. As we inhale, we're going to twist and bring it behind. Gazes up at those right fingers. Exhale, arm back to center. Inhale, reach overhead. Gazes up at your fingers. Exhale, bring that arm back to neutral. 4 more rounds. Inhale, twist. Gazes behind you. Exhale, come back to neutral. Inhale, lift up overhead. Extend, gazes up at your fingers. Beautiful, release to neutral. Round 3, inhale, twist behind you. You'll likely find more flexibility on one side than the other. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just good to know your body, and you'll find that both loosen up over time. Exhale, bring that right arm back to neutral. Inhale, up overhead. 3, right? 4. Okay, 1 more. Arm back to neutral. Inhale, twist. Last one, make it your best one. Gaze follows your hand behind you. Beautiful. Exhale, bring your arm back to neutral. Inhale, up, up, up. Reach with that arm. Gazes up at your fingers. Beautiful. And exhale, return to center and release your arms. Shake out your arms. Shake out your legs. That should feel really good. I'm going to go ahead and move my pillow now. And we're going to go into our bridge pose. So we're going to be doing a modified bridge because a traditional bridge pose really requires a lot of strength and flexibility across your chest, which I know many of us are working to kind of regain at this point. So I'm going to show you guys a bridge with a modifier, and we're going to do 3 rounds of it, okay? So you'll see Gabby facing forward. I'm going to go a bit to the side so you can see it kind of from this angle as well. So hands on your knees, and we're going to roll down one vertebrae at a time until your back and your head are on the floor. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor, and you're going to walk your feet towards your glutes, towards your bottom, and then you're going to walk your hands towards your feet. Now, if you can't reach your feet or your ankles or your heels with your hands, no problem. We're going to push with our palms into the mat for stability. If you're able to grab your heels or grab your ankles, go ahead and do so. Okay. And then as we inhale, we're going to lift just our hips up off the ground. Okay. So your head and neck and shoulders remain engaged with your mat, and so do your feet. And your hands as well if you're not holding onto your feet. Okay, exhale, release. We're going to do 2 more of these, and you should feel a nice back bending stretch here in your spine. Round 2, inhale. Let your breath help you lift your pelvis up into the air. Always coming back to your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And exhale, release. Bring your bottom back down to the mat. And this is our last one, so we're going to make it our best one. Walk your feet in as close as you can. And one more time, inhale and push those hips up toward the sky. Beautiful job. Inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, and release, return back down to your mat. And now from here, we're going to do something called a counter pose. And so since we just bent our spines backward, we're going to want to do the opposite of that and bend them forward, okay? And really kind of stretch our spine. What I want you to do is cross your right foot over your left knee, okay? And this is called a cradle twist. And then we're going to extend our right arm out to the side, palm down for stability. And you're going to put your palm on your right knee, and you're going to help your body twist that left knee and right knee both toward the floor, okay? So you should feel a good twist here. Go as far as you can, don't overextend. And release, come back to center. We're going to unconnect or disconnect our legs, and then switch and cross your left foot over your right knee. And your left arm comes out to the side, palm down for stability. We're going to take that right hand and bring it around to the outside of our left knee. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, twist your spine and bring both of your knees toward the floor. Staying here for just a second. Inhaling, lengthening through your head and spine, and with each exhale, melting further into your mat. That should feel really good. Beautiful. And inhale, come back to center, uncross your legs, feet are on the floor. Now what I want you to do is hug your knees into your chest. This is kind of the rocking and rolling pose in yoga. And so I want you to squeeze your knees into your chest. First, we're going to rock side to side, kind of loosening everything up. And then I want you to grab the back of your knees on the upper part, like the back of your thighs, and then roll backward and forward until you find yourself all the way up in a seated position. Beautiful. Now again with a counter pose, because we have bent backward, we're going to work on bending our spine forward. And so we're going to do our forward folding pose. And so I want you to extend your legs out in front of you. Keeping your legs straight is more important here than how far you're able to go into the pose. If you need to do a little micro bend in your knees, that's fine, but you don't want your legs bent up like this, okay? So try to keep them as straight as you can. Legs outstretched in front of you, feet are flexed. Inhaling, arms come up. Really extend your spine, and as you exhale, come forward and either grab at your ankles or your shins. Maybe you can grab your feet or your toes. If you're more flexible, you might be able to take that block on the outside of your feet for an even deeper stretch. Again, wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. With each inhale, think about lengthening through your head and spine. And with each exhale, think about melting further onto your legs. Beautiful job. Now release, return to center. Now I think we have to do just a little abdominal work here. So for our last pose prior to our closing, we're going to do both pose. We're going to do 3 rounds. We're going to really engage our abdominal muscles here, okay? So what I want you to do is sit back, and you can put your pillow behind you again for a little extra support if you would like, kind of under your tailbone or right behind the base of your tailbone. If not, no problem. And what I want you to do is really think about pushing through your tailbone, making a concave abdomen, it's getting that nice arch, and then rolling back onto your hips and lifting your legs up off the mat. Now you can just stay right here if you like. If you're looking for a little bit more of a challenge, you can think about straightening your legs, pointing your toes. A little bit further even would be to let go of your legs and bring your hands up, or hands and arms up in the air, okay? We're gonna hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Hug those knees into your chest for a reset. We're gonna do 2 more rounds. If you find your muscles shaking a little, that's totally normal. It doesn't mean anything is wrong, it just means you're working your muscles. So good job on you. Okay, 2 more, ready? Grab those legs behind the knees. Shift your weight backward until you find your stable place. Think about maybe if you didn't straighten your legs last time, maybe think about straightening your legs. If you didn't let go last time, maybe think about letting go with one arm, or if you did with one, maybe let go with both. We're gonna hold it here, gazes at our toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful job. Hug your knees into your chest. We have 1 more round to make it your best round. We're gonna end on a high note. Beautiful job. Inhale, taking a big deep breath. Grab your legs from behind. Find your V seat. Push yourself a little bit further than you did last time. And we're gonna hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful job. Hug your legs into your chest, hug your knees in, and we're gonna rock back and forth. And this time, instead of ending in a seated position, we're gonna end laying down on our backs, and we're gonna move into our closing pose of Shavasana, which is also known as corpse pose. So I want you to extend your legs out in front of you, put your arms out, hands up for receiving, let your feet just fall to either side. We're gonna close our eyes. I have heard it in many yoga class that oftentimes people feel that corpse pose or Shavasana is one of the most difficult poses because it can be really hard for us to still our bodies and our minds. So it's a great practice. So I'm going to walk you through that whiskey breathing or sleeping breath that I talked about at the beginning of class. And then I'm going to turn up the music and just kind of let you enjoy this pose for a few minutes, and then we'll come back together and close, okay? So, we had done our breath of fire at the beginning. For this whiskey breathing or sleeping breath, we're going to focus on inhaling and exhaling through the nose like we've been doing throughout class today. But we are going to keep our inhale on a count of 4, and we're going to slow down our exhale, working toward getting to a count of 8, okay? So we're going to do 3 rounds. We'll do 4 by 4 first, then 4 by 6, then 4 by 8, and then I'll let you guys just kind of relax, okay? So first breath, closing your eyes, melting into your mat. Inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to go 4 by 6. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow it down and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And last round, 4 by 8. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now, whatever feels good to you, maintain that breathing for a few minutes. I'm going to turn up the music and just let you enjoy. Beautiful. Now think about coming back into your body, wiggling your fingers and toes, coming back to your breath. Beautiful job. And when you're ready, we're going to roll over to one side and push ourselves back up to a seated position. And we're going to close the class with 3 rounds of water or ocean breathing, which is really the breath that we've been doing all through class today. It's the inhaling and exhaling by 4s. So you guys go ahead and close your eyes, cross your legs, hands on your knees. As you inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, slight pause at the top, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Inhaling through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring your right hand to your heart, your left hand to your abdomen, and repeat silently after me. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. May this practice heal and strengthen my body and my mind. Thank you all for joining today. Namaste. It was such a treat.